So if you rewind about 100 years ago, Milton Park was a military depot. Having acquired Milton Park in the mid-80s, the management team at the time made a strategic decision to use Milton Park as a vehicle to support early companies that were starting to spin out of a university. And the buildings we're selling in here today have been kind of pivotal in providing early homes to some of those companies.
Milton Park has a whole hidden history. This entire park was full of buildings like this 80 to 100 years ago. One of the things that Milton Park was particularly involved in was the distribution of all the aircraft parts for the whole of the southeast of England through the Second World War. So this was a role of national significance as well as local importance as an employer and as a community.
Without Building 57 and without Milton Park being so flexible, Evotech wouldn't be.
From the very first day, we knew those buildings would not survive for that long, although we thought it would happen earlier. And now it's reached the stage, obviously, where we couldn't stay here anymore because they're really about to be demolished and they're falling apart, really.
The very fact that these buildings were as they were and the rents were cheaper because they weren't cutting-edge buildings, that was a big part of making our money go on the right things, which was the science rather than necessarily the quality of the building that we were in at the time.
The buildings are one thing. As long as they're functional, chemists can cope with a lot. We're a very resourceful group of people. But come November and December, it was absolutely freezing. So we've got the corrugated iron roofs, and it's fair to say they don't offer a lot of insulation. We work with some solvents. Diethyl ether is one of them, and the boiling point is really low. And literally, again, you couldn't work with that during the summer months because as soon as you'd poured it out, it was starting to evaporate.
We organise all sorts of, like coffee mornings and stuff like that. And I remember once we had a pancake day competition and we had a few pancakes stuck to the ceiling. So there probably still greasy traces there as we speak.
I can really remember when Adaptimune first started, Helen Tatum-Martin, who's our Chief Business and Strategy Officer, she came in to really set the company up and she brought her daughter in with her. And I remember seeing her in the building 57 and there she was basically starting the company, getting all of the documentation signed and changing a nappy on the director's desk at the same time. The new building that we moved into in 2017 overlooks the place where it all began over here in 57 and 59.
I think we went first in building 90 and then 91, 101, 127, 93.
We've moved from 57, we expanded into 44, then into 150 and 151. Now we've got 8 buildings on the park, but honestly, nothing could ever compete with those days where you really felt every reaction you did or every little thing that you did, whatever hour you were spending, really counted towards the success or the failure of the company.
We have a huge amount of exciting stuff happening at Milton Park, and really it's all underpinned by our 2040 vision. And alongside that, Milton Park becoming slightly more 24/7 and slightly less 9 to 5 in terms of more amenity uses for the companies are here and the surrounding areas. So watch this space for further updates.